say that I didn't complete last time. This very nice gentleman was asking me if you are about to drown, what would you say? And I remember saying, I would pray God. And so he was surprised because
I wasn't surprised. I was surprised. This is natural. To me, it's natural.
An atheist doesn't pray God, obviously. And I added, when he made the remark, I added, yeah, but in a situation of fear of dying, I would most probably look at the sky and say, oh God. And then I remember when I was in Lampedusa, where all the immigrants come, they cross the sea because obviously it's a desperate situation of poverty created by United States and war and destruction and famine, disease and overpopulation. So they come to Europe to survive. Virtually they come to survive. And these people told me a lot of situation on the boat, and they explained to me that to cross the sea, it seems a short distance, but it's very, very dangerous because they live in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. When they take the boat, the weather is beautiful. Sun, the sea perfectly calm. As they go into the sea, all of a sudden it changes. And there are, from nowhere, occurs tremendous hurricanes and tempests, and the waves are out of control, very, very high waves, and they just think that's it. We are all going to die. And sometimes there are 150 people all just looking, and we are going to die. And I tell you what's happened to
How long it's going to take to make your point? Am I engaged with you, or are you going to speak alone?
No, I just want to give this idea of how people react when they see death in the face.
Okay, how long have you been talking now?
No, just 5 minutes. No, 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
3 minutes. I saw many people told me that, for example, there was an Egyptian guy. He left with 54 people, and the boatman that had this huge boat. And when they were in the middle of the sea, they lost the direction. They were not very organized. It was the first time the boatman was crossing, and it was night. And they said, oh my goodness, we don't have petrol. We are not going to make it to Lampedusa. We are not making it to Italy. We don't have petrol. And they were so desperate. And the people in the boat said, oh yeah, if you don't have petrol.
Is it a movie or what? Make your point. Honestly, I'm not going to listen.
Let me tell you what's happened.
What is the point of talking
the
5 minutes?
The point is this, that the people that thought they were going to die, no one of them prayed. They were all very good Muslims. Or others boats, they told me, no, nobody prays in those moments when you see death on your face. You know what people do? They just look at each other and they think, well, can I see a land there? Can I see something? Another boat, somebody saving us. They keep on looking at each other, looking at the sea. No one is praying. Okay, tell your version. finished.
The lady took 5 minutes or 6 telling us a movie happening in the Mediterranean Sea at Lampedusa island between Italy and Libya in the cross channel. And she said nobody was praying. This is a lie. How on earth? Did you see everybody wasn't praying? Do you know in Islam you can't pray when you are sitting like this? Do you know there's so many forms of prayer? Because she said, I was surprised when she said, oh my God. I'm not surprised because in Islam, in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testified all his creation. Isn't it me? I am your Lord? He said yes. So this lady, when she was a little, very little thing, when she was a soul, she testified. That's why when she is in danger, she look at the heaven and say, God. She doesn't look at the loo, she doesn't look at the kitchen, she doesn't look at the tube station. She said, oh God. And this is, we call it al-fitra. We call al-fitra, the instinct, something implanted in you. But because the majority of the creation are wicked, they don't know the Most High except when they are in danger. And I told her, I could invite you to Italy in a sea trip. I take you on a boat and I rock it hard. I rock it. Yes. And I got 5 divers with me. I pay for them and you're going to save you. But the first, when I rock the boat, you're going to say one word. Not pizza, not cappuccino, not anything. You're going to say God. 3 words. The one you denied all your life, you know him because you are not. I'm not going to use bad words to you because you are an old and decent lady. But,
I'm old also.
But I don't want to use bad words. But this is, in the best of the words I can choose, you are ungrateful to the Creator. Because you know him when you are dying. You go to the hospital in Italy when people have COVID. God, why? Why now you say God? Why didn't you say God when you are in the nude beaches? Why say God when you are committing adultery, fornication in the street? Why didn't say God when you're drinking? Vino. Why?
Because God to me is an assumption. And I know for sure from people that were about to have a crash on the aeroplane, and I was in one of them. Once I was in an aeroplane, and the aeroplane was in a horrible turbulence. And we saw smoke coming out from the engine in front of from a wing. No one of them was even hinting or showing of being praying or nothing. They just make it in Hollywood movies that when people are about to die in a car crash, they yell and scream and get agitated and jump off of the seat. It's not like that. That particular situation that I was in an aeroplane and at virtually the engine on fire, the people were not absolutely yelling, screaming, saying God or anything. They just would look at each other, terrorized, but kept on looking at each other because people somehow still maintains faith in the human capability to keep calm in front of death. And looking at each other is like drawing, because we are all interlinked to each other. It's like drawing the energy from another person and trying to become all like-minded in front of death. That is my personal experience.
Who told you in Islam when you pray you have to pray loud?
Well, it
Who told you
is,
that? You have to say, oh God, and scream. Oh, one of the most high names, the hearer, the most hearer, As-Sami'a, Al-Basir, a very good watcher. So, do you think if I say, oh God, it's going to be different when I say it? I say, oh God. What is the difference between both of them?
yeah, it's possible that people pray, but a person who prays doesn't look to another human being. He would just close his eyes and rely on his own mental tension to be diffused. When you say, oh God, you mentally you say, oh God, you diffuse attention or the tension of fear. That is my impression.
Why lady? What the hell you get this? You know in Islam, you cannot pray while you are closing your eyes. You will see devil. You cannot. You cannot pray while you closing your eyes. You have to open your eyes.
I never knew that.
Search it. You see, I never knew that, I never knew that, I never knew that. And you're talking about Islam. I am telling you, in Islam, if you pray,
I'm not talking about Islam.
and you close your eyes, you pray a zero, void.
I'm talking about in general, not this religion, I'm talking about the belief of God. Belief is assumption and praying is hope. If you do everything correctly in life, such as removing the fundamental injustice of dire poverty in the south of the world, then the question of God and of hope does not arise because you are behaving correctly and properly, helping other human beings to clarify their thinking process against other human beings that are predators and vicious and racist, discriminatory and advantage taker. You have to have faith in the capability of human beings to defend themselves, because God might exist but might also not exist. You don't have evidence that God exists. Nobody has ever proved, have ever given evidence that God exists. So be honest, say we do not know. I honestly say I do not know.
Why don't you talk about yourself?
Yeah, I'm talking about for half of the world population that are non-believers like me. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about a growing community of non-believers.
Okay. Now the lady said she doesn't have evidence that Allah exists. As a Muslim, Allah said in Quran, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Are you blind?
Sorry, it's raining, I go here.
You want to sit down here?
No.
Shall I get you this chair?
No, I like to stand. No, I prefer to stand.
وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Are you blind? Don't you see my power? Don't see my strength in your own self? Do you think, are you stupid enough to believe that this body running by coincidence? Another verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. We, Allah the Almighty, gonna show His creation, His signs in the horizon until they realize the truth. If you don't have a belief, don't say, we don't care about majority. Because in Quran, I always say it. Allah said in Quran in 26 times, 26 verse, He denounced the majority. The majority ungrateful. The majority are ignorant. The majority doesn't like the truth. The majority jahil, fasik, kafir, follow congestion, follow their lust. So we are not care. We don't care about if Allah the Almighty created a human and he like to live like an animal. It's his problem. But I told the lady last week, please go to the Italian town called Bombay. Did we say that? This Sodomite village. And what happened? If you search it, you find people doing the Sodomite act, and they are frozen and preserved. And this, Allah said it in Quran. Allah said it, this is, if a monkey came now, not now, before, Allah the only one, he claimed, I create everything, I done this, and why didn't you claim it? Why you don't do lovely books and to overtake the Quran? If you are very clever and smart, why don't you make new Quran? Not Quran, Italian or whatever, Latin book. All the fake religion get smashed.
My priority is to remove the suffering. Birds have a nest, animals have a den, human beings homeless in a very rich city like London, homeless everywhere. That is the fundamental injustice. The people are not like they tell you alcoholic or mental cases. They are homeless because there are no houses for the poor, but there are palaces and tremendous wealth for the rich. This is the fundamental injustice. Once you pray to God, you will never remove the injustice. To remove the injustice, you have to rely on people that fight back against the dehumanization of human beings.
This is the hypocrisy of the Western mentality. This is the hypocrisy of the Western mentality. The woman said, look at the homeless. Is being homeless is a big thing? Or killing 1 million in the CAR, the Central African Republic. 1.2 million Christian died, already dead. Why? It's not coincidence. Africa have to fight each other so they can rob the country from the minerals. Look at Mali. Look at the Burkhan operation. The French, when they go to the West African, look at the Italians. What is Eni? Do you know Eni? What is Eni? One of the seven sisters, the big oil corporation, sucking and stealing the oil and the gas from Libya. The seven sisters, Texaco, British Petroleum, and the Dutch one, and Eni, and the French Total. This is the mafia. Plus, how many Muslim mafia in the world? All the bloody mafia are either mafiosi, Italiano, or German, or Czech, or Romanian, or Brazilian. None of them, the 50 mafia in the whole world, are Christian.
Mafia is a rich people business. For example, I give you an example of what mafia is. When Iran, to defend themselves from being robbed of the oil from United States that imposed this petrodollar enslavement of the Middle East, what did they do in order to put Iran on its knees? They made Al-Qaeda and they made a deal with Osama bin Laden and with the Saudis. The Saudis sold the oil only to the United States, and Europe buys the oil mostly from Iran, made a deal, and they paid is oil that the Americans were buying from the Saudis was paid in dollars. But the Saudis, 400 mega rich families, they took the oil, the dollars from the Americans for the oil, and reinvested the dollars in New York mostly, in United States, in real estate, because that is the most profitable business if you are an investor, to buy real estates in New York. If you go to New York, like I have been in 5th Street, the whole street, multi-billion investment in real estate in 5th Street belongs to the Saudis. That's why when they knocked down the Twin Towers, the first thing Bush did was to put the Saudis in aeroplanes out of the countries, telling that it was Al-Qaeda that knocked down the Twin Towers. And I'm not too sure about that, because it could well be a side job so they could go and destroy Iraq. So be informed before talking about how nice the Arabs are. The Arabs are Muslim fundamentalism in Islamic clothing. That's what they are. Islamic clothing is American imperialism. It's all one business. Don't talk me about the goodness of the Arabs. I know my shit.
What are you telling me,
I
bro?
know my shit.
You've got a mouth, open it, man. What are you telling me, bro?
Carry on.
Keep saying, oh, me.
I know my shit.
Talk, man.
I'm
Talk.
informed.
I don't want to go completely politics. I go Islamic and politics. I'm not politician. I am Muslim politician, yes. But if I'm going to talk about economy, I have to link it with Islam. I'm talking to you now. I am talking to you now.
Yeah.
If I give you 200 say something being said 1450 years ago, for 200 prophecy about Muhammad, peace be upon him, our prophet, a Bedouin man.
Yeah, talk to the camera.
No, I'm talking to you. What? You scared?
No, talk to the, no, because I'm scared that police might say you're...
I look at you and you look at the police, yeah?
Well, I don't want to go in a cell. They put in a cell.
I'm talking to the camera. I'm going to talk to the camera. What is the point of arguing and you are not bettering of your life? What is the point of criticizing? Just criticize. If I tell you, oh, you are dirty or you are not clean, and I'm not telling you, if I tell you are not clean, is it better? Or I tell you are not clean and you have to wash yourself? So Islam can detect the problem and can cure it. You criticizing. African coming from the bloody Mediterranean and migrating. Who caused? Who's the cause? And what is the solution? Islam. Why? Islam tell you not to be greedy, not to be thief. Yes? Every problem, there is 200 prophecy was said 1450 years. All the majority of them. Do you know one of our prophecy that Muslim gonna conquest Rome? They're gonna take Rome, Roma, the capital.
How many years ago?
1450 years being said. And was said about Constantinople.
1450, Islam is 1,000 years old. What are you talking about?
Sorry?
Islam is 1,000 years old.
No, Islam is 1400.
No, wait. No, wait. I mean, you really need to look at the history books. It's 1,000 years old. And they expanded into Spain at around the year 600 after Christ.
Okay, 600 after Christ.
Can I say something? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay, yeah? when God made Adam and Eve, they wasn't born into a religion. They had no religion. Adam and Eve had no religion. Yeah? Religion, when Satan took over this, when Satan took over everything, that's when all the religions were coming.
According to you,
Sorry?
according to you, Adam and Steve didn't have.
No, Adam and Eve.
Sorry,
not
sorry.
Adam and
Oh my God!
How could
Did
you
you
say
get
that?
that? Adam and Steve! Oh.
that was Adam and Eve, when they was made, when God made them, He didn't make them in a religion. They had no religion.
According to you, according to Muslim, when Allah, the Creator, create all the souls, He create all the souls, all of them.
When Satan told Jesus to come, he told Jesus to come. You can have this. You can have this. He said to Jesus.
Jesus
you can
came
have,
on.
wait. He said to Jesus.
Jesus came yesterday.
Wait. He
It's
said.
Adam, not Adam,
He
not
said you
Jesus.
can have this, and he said to Jesus, you can have that. What did Jesus say?
Not Jesus,
said-
peace be upon him.
Jesus said
He was
no.
talking to Adam, not Jesus.
Hey?
Jesus came 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, that was afterwards. That was after. But this is Satan's system. All of this belongs to Satan. The buses, the buildings.
You see, you get along better with me than with him. Huh?
I don't know, from you.
Satan.
Come with me.